Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? We are now back into Love is Blind UK. We are now on episode 5 and it's called Made a Mistake, and we all know what that is going to center around and what that is going to revolve around. But before we get into this video, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm on doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1k. I want to sit and thank all of my renegades that have logged in, followed, liked, watched my videos, made comments. I really appreciate it, because I can see my little channel is starting to grow a little bit. It's part of my little hobby and I love what I do, so I hope you love listening to me the same way I love talking to you lot. Anyway, so we take off with Nicole going to meet Ben, and it's kind of like, okay, let's see what is afoot, because we all know that Nicole made a mistake by picking Sam the first time around. But the realization, as we know, for Nicole didn't come until after she said yes to that man in the pods. Yeah, it more than likely proved her point fully that Sam was not for her when she actually met him face to face. All I'm thinking is I hope Benaya doesn't think that he is second choice to Sam. Technically he is, but it's the hope that Nicole will be able to allay those types of fears for him and show him that actually she made a mistake, she admits to what she's done, and she wants to move on with him. So basically, yeah, so she's sitting in a coffee shop. He walks in and he goes to meet her. All I can say is the meeting with them was a lot better than it was between Nicole and Sam. There was no awkwardness between them at all. Like, seriously, no awkwardness. It's kind of like they picked up where they left off with regards to them talking in the pods. Yes, there was a lot of hurt feelings, and Nicole did apologize for how the situation lent itself to. But basically she was there to literally splay her heart out to this man to say that she wanted him. All I'm gonna say is these men are tall. Like, seriously, they are really tall. I thought the girls are really short, but this year, this first gummo of people coming through, these men are hella tall. I did not realize that there were so many tall men in the UK, like, seriously, because majority of the men that I've met are either been like my height and I'm like 5'3", or just that little bit taller, and they had proper Napoleon complex going on, like, seriously. But yeah, I am surprised that there's a lot of tall guys in this first season. She instantly says to him that she made a mistake in choosing Sam. Ben is actually listening to her, but it's kind of like the whole deep breathing he's doing as he's listening to her, he isn't really giving much away. I think he's feeling and listening to the words that she's saying, and this is what I like. He's actively listening to what it is that he's saying rather than listening to respond. So I was just like, at the end of the day, if we go back to the situation in the US one with Zach and Bliss and how it worked out for them, is it going to be the same kind of scenario for then Nicole and Benaya to work out? I don't know. I think there's going to be some monkey wrenches thrown in their way as they pick up speed and get on, and it isn't going to be a good monkey wrench, and I'll get to that very soon. She felt that Ben at the time, which is what I said, wasn't emotionally pouring into her in the way that Sam was. I was actually right, like I'd said in the episodes, that the reason why she didn't pick Benaya is Benaya did not give her what she wanted in that moment in time, but Sam did. But I think that's a completely stupid reason in which to pick someone that you know was not good for you in the first place, and a completely stupid reason to rule somebody out who was actually on your wavelength, because at the end of the day, at that space in time, as I said before, Nicole blocked her blessing. So basically Benaya was just thinking that, you know what, he honestly thought it would be him and Nicole, and he was heartbroken by the situation that did occur, and he did tell Nicole that. But he's saying for himself, it was best that they did that way, and he thought that it was the right thing that had happened. He basically says that what he had with Nicole was completely real. So I was like, okay, is he going to be letting her down gently? So he basically said that he'd lost her once and he doesn't want to lose her again. So I was like, okay, this is where he's going to literally give her like an ultimatum, or basically say this is what he wants to do, which he does. So he basically came there with the intention of addressing the commitment issue and addressing the reassurance issue with Nicole. So Ben actually got up and asked her to marry him. She was hella excited by that because she didn't realize that this is where Benaya wanted to be. But I don't think Nicole gave Benaya much of a chance in order to go back, reflect, and then come back and actually say, do you know what, this is where I want us to be, this is where I see us going. In that sense, she just literally dropped in like a ton of hotcakes when she didn't get what she wanted. So I would say that Nicole looked more natural with Benaya, and that's where she should have been, to be honest. That's how I'm going to see it. The only issues that I would probably find with them at this moment in time is Benaya has already said that he's quite homeless, but not homeless in the sense where he's living on the streets. His work takes him here, there and everywhere in that sense, and he's living at the properties that he's working on. So I don't know how that will then compute to, if he's married to someone, how he will then set down roots with that person without them feeling left behind constantly when he's disappearing here, there and everywhere, and who's the one that's going to be making the homestead and this, that and the other, and will they be doing it together? So those are the kind of like little questions that I have so far in regards to Benaya and his situation, and how that's going to pan out if him and Nicole do end up making it work and getting married. So we go back to the honeymoon. Stephen actually comes out in body smugglers with the word body smugglers written on the back of the damn speedos. I was like, my life. Yes, he had a good body, but nobody wanted to see that. Nobody really wanted to see that. Only that should have been kept for Sabrina at the end of the day. But they seem to be getting on okay. They're laughy, they're jokey and everything like that. We'll just see how it is once they get back to the real world. So you see Maria and Tom, and basically they're all talking about the couples and who they're excited to see. And they're excited to see Demi and Ollie, because Maria says she wants to see their dynamic, to be fair. And Maria explained what Catherine had done in terms of breaking things off with Ollie. So then it comes to pass, as Tom does, you know what, pillow talk, you can chat about these things. So Tom does say to Maria that actually Ollie was the one that came back in and said he broke it off with Catherine. Now, we all know that wasn't true. We all know Ollie had made his decision, but before he could open his mouth and say to Catherine, do you know what, I'm going to go with the other connection that I have, Catherine had already decided she's fallen on that sword. She's got a connection with Freddie. She's going to let Demi have the man, because that's how I see it. She's going to let Demi have the man at the end of the day, because she could see that Demi was very into Ollie at the end of the day. So she kind of knew that their conversations must have been like surpassing her conversation with Ollie, and Ollie had already indicated to her that he doesn't know with Catherine whether it's like, you know, this real deep connection, or whether it's just like the flirty banter that he's getting interested in, and does she have any other kind of substance underneath all of the flirty banter that they're having. I was like, we all know that shit was going to come out at some point. Honestly knew it was going to come out at some point, and we knew that Catherine was going to find out in regards to what Ollie said when he went back into the room with the lads and told them exactly what he told them. So Freddie and Catherine are chatting, and basically he asks Catherine, does she feel connected with him on another level? She pauses and then says, yes, I do. I'm still of the view that I really don't think Catherine is feeling Freddie much, if I'm honest. Like, seriously not feeling him as much as I thought she would feel him. Do you know what I mean? She says that she's super comfortable around him, and Freddie is basically saying that he's excited to meet the guys and the girls. And Catherine says that it will be weird because Freddie doesn't really know who the girls are and she doesn't know who the boys are. And then she goes on to say, but I would know who Ollie is because I'd be able to pick out his voice, and that she's nervous to meet him. I'm like, again with the Ollie thing? Again, Catherine? Come on now. That's something that Freddie didn't really like to hear. And you could see that from when his whole face just went as if to say, okay, well, why would you say that? And why would you be nervous in meeting Ollie? And I thought all I heard was, here comes trouble. Here comes trouble. Here comes the. Yeah, let's move. So Freddie does ask Catherine, why are you so nervous in terms of meeting? And she says that she starts talking to Freddie at first, and basically she is trying to put it as she's hurt by what Ollie's did by making it seem as though he was the one that broke off the situation and called it off in the pods when it wasn't true. So Catherine has heard that floating about, which I knew that she would. I'm kind of like of the view, you can let me know what you thought at that point, is what does it matter at the end of the day? You're with your person and Ollie's with his person and they're getting on quite well at the end of the day. So I'm kind of like, what does it matter what was said? At the end of the day, it was broken off. Whoever broke it off, do you know what I mean? And always you need to get the context of the other person as to what is it exactly did they say? Do you know what I mean? To make other people have the impression that that's what Ollie said. So she thinks that Ollie's twisted her word. So Catherine basically wants to pull Ollie for a chat. So Freddie was basically co-signing what she wanted to do and said, whatever you do, I will stand by it. And I thought Freddie's going to eat those words for sure, because I really think Catherine and Ollie will proper flirt with each other when they do meet, like seriously, because they did connect in the pods. I ain't gonna lie, they did. But I think Demi's connection won out more because it was more of a deeper pull than what Catherine's was. So Ollie and Demi are having a chat, and basically Demi's in her VC saying that she could fall for him, and they're both saying that they're physically attracted to each other but they just haven't done anything yet. So Ollie was basically saying that sex is important, but they don't want to put too much emphasis on that act. At the end of the day, when they're both comfortable with each other, they'll do it. Until then, they're not particularly too fussed about not doing it. So Demi goes through and talks about who she's excited to see out of the girls. I think she was plainly testing Ollie, yeah, because she turned around and there was one girl's name she forget to mention, yeah, and she was like, oh, I can't remember the other girl. Straight away, I was like, Catherine. And I was like, right, Ollie, give it a breath, give it a space, give it a beat before you throw her name out there. Quickly supplied her name. I was like, man, chill out, because I think that was a little bit of a test. So Demi basically didn't really want to talk about Catherine at all. I think, in my view, they do need to see the other couples. I think they need to see how they would interact with each other as a group, and how everybody else will interact with each other when it's singularly, like when you pull somebody for a chat and you're making those friendships and you're seeing how things go. I think when the couples do meet, there's going to be a full-on insecurity put in place for Demi already, and at the moment I don't think Ollie was doing enough to reassure her in that space of time to make her seem that everything was going to be okay. So Jasmine and Bobby are saying that they're excited to meet other couples, so then all the couples met. So you see Sabrina and Stephen coming first, I should say. You see Ollie and Demi then come in, you see Maria and Tom come in, and Freddie, of course, and Catherine came in last, right? So everybody hasn't really questioned at this point in time where the fuck is Nicole and Sam and what the fuck is going on right about now, because they ain't turned up yet. So I was looking closely at Ollie and how he hold himself away and was acting quite nonchalant. And it was at this point that little bits started to click for me, and I'll tell you how it came to pass after a while, that certain behaviours in Ollie was speaking of certain traits down the ADHD and autistic kind of spectrum, but I didn't want to put no labels on this man at this point in time because he hadn't said like anything about that. But yeah, he was giving off signs that, you know what, this type of group scenario he was not comfortable in any way, shape or form. So all I thought is Demi will be watching very closely when it comes to Ollie and Catherine. Now you could see that Catherine was watching Ollie like a good one, like wouldn't stop looking back at him, wouldn't stop going there, looking at him and looking back. And Ollie was clocking all of this too, and I think other people were clocking the way that she kept on staring at him too. So it wasn't until Freddie went over to her and said to her, when are you going to pull in for a chat and stuff like that, that she looked back a further how many times and then decided to walk over and go pull Ollie for a chat. So I was just like, Catherine's just a little bit too much. Like seriously, that's how I say she's just a little bit too much. And I don't know if it's her personality per se or if she's being fake about it, because there's just something about her. Like seriously, there's just something about her. So Catherine does speak to Ollie and basically talks about what was said. Ollie automatically default to no, that's not what I said, but it kind of is what he indicated when he went back into that room, in terms of he'd ended things with Catherine, because someone did ask him if he ended things and he went yeah, when in actuality it wasn't him that ended things, it was Catherine. But he does turn around and apologise to Catherine, and Catherine is basically saying that she doesn't want any tension to be there. And basically she was saying that she pulled him for this chat because of the fact that she has so much respect for him. Not so much respect for Demi in order to, you know, get the bullshit out of the way, but respect for Ollie. Okay. So Jasmine is there asking Demi if she's doing fine, and Demi says she's cool, but Demi can't see the interplay. I don't think she really wanted to. She wasn't comfortable at that time. So she had her back to Ollie and to Catherine, and it was Jasmine that was watching them. Now, you could tell that Demi was not happy in the slightest with how things were happening at that point in time. And you could literally see where Demi was literally shutting down, like emotionally, personality wise. She was becoming quieter and quieter and quieter and going in on herself. And you could actually see when that was happening. And then as the camera pans back, you see Catherine be smiling and laughing and Ollie be smiling and laughing together. And I was like, right now, they're literally not being like respectful of their spouses, the people that they come with, because they sat there and were having this conversation. Took them a while to separate themselves from each other. And then when they did separate themselves from each other, I'll give it to Catherine, she went straight back over to Freddie. But Ollie didn't even really go over to talk to Demi. He went over to say, "How are you okay? How you doing?" And she was kind of like standoffish, and you could tell that. And then as Demi's trying to speak to Ollie, because Jasmine decides to move away and let them talk, he fucking says, "Hold that thought," and walks the frick away, goes and grabs Bobby for a chat. And then he's sitting there and telling Bobby about how the flirty the conversation was, and him and Bobby both indicated that they saw how Catherine kept on looking at him hard, yeah, and now he's kind of thinking to himself, is there something still there? I'm like, nah, my dudes, dude, don't be doing that, not do that. So then you see Maria, Tom, Bobby and Stephen talking about Sam and Nicole. And basically Stephen asked Maria, do you think she should have picked Benaya? And straight away Maria said yeah. And I was like, you will soon know what happened with Nicole. So you see Demi again talking to Ollie, and basically she's talking about like how she feels like they're the drama right now, and talks about his conversation with Catherine. As I said, he left Demi behind to go speak to Bobby. I was just like, yeah. Ollie is not putting himself in the best light at the moment, and he's kind of treating Demi a little bit shitty. Demi just believes that something is happening and she's being left in the dark, which is making her shut down all the more. So Bobby is trying to tell Ollie, you need to have that chat with Demi. You need to clear the air with her, because Ollie is picking up on the change in behaviour of Demi, but not realising that he's actually the cause of it. So then Bobby then tells Ollie that he and Jasmine, you know, did the do, and he's dabbing him up and all sorts. And I'm like, you know what? The problem with Ali is sometimes he's too inner with other people, and what he needs to do is go back, reassure his woman that everything is cool, and actually listening to what it is that she needs to say and rectify the situation. So then you see Nicole and Benaya enter the chats. Everybody was happy, like honestly happy to see them together. So Nicole went over to the girls and literally let them know what had happened. I was just like, she should have chose Benaya first. You live and you freaking learn at the moment, this moment in time. You should have chose Benaya first. I think it was hard at that point to hear Demi listening to all of the girls chatting about how they're doing with their men emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Because at the end of the day, her and Ali haven't moved to that stance where they're hitting anything yet physically. At the end of the day, emotionally, they're getting connected. But right now, Demi feels like she's been let loose in the wind. Because I think the group setting, and then also Ali having a conversation with Catherine, and then him buggering off and not really talking to her about it, has literally like set her off like a spare part, basically. She is talking about how she would like to have more public displays of affection from Ali, but she knows that's not what he likes to do and not what he's completely used to in terms of doing that within a group setting, because you know everywhere they look, everybody's hugging, everybody's kissing, you know, rubbing shoulders, stroking hair, stuff like that. That Ali and Demi don't do them things. They really don't. They don't. So Catherine was talking to Freddie, saying that she really didn't want to make it a big thing in terms of Ali. But she feels like there's a weird tension there now with Demi, which has made her sad. She said she cared about Demi more than she did Ali, but I don't think that's the truth, because at the end of the day, if you did, you would have went as well, had that conversation with Demi to let her know, you know what, I am going to pull like your other half for a chat because of this situation, and I just wanted to clear the air with him and let her know where it was that you stood, but you didn't. So I think Demi was also clocking the little looks that Catherine kept throwing Ali's way, and she could see how Ali was being receptive to that as well. Freddie basically says to Catherine after her whole like conversation, says that he is secure with where they are and truly believes that Catherine is all for him. Again, I honestly don't get that impression from Catherine. Nothing's coming up for me at all from her. Could I say at this point, do I see them getting married? I really don't think so. I don't. So all I will say is Ali and Catherine will be the ones to watch for me through this certain situation. But then I know some more is going to come onto that list very, very freaking soon. You see Jasmine and Bobby talking to each other, and Jasmine is basically saying that she's aware of what happened with the conversation that Bobby has had with Ali, not about the situation where he talks about Catherine and wondering if something's still there, but she's saying that what Ali needs to do is he needs to talk to Demi, because at this moment in time she believes that Ali is leaving Demi in a grey area. So Jasmine is saying to Bobby that she wants to be able to have a chat with Ali about his behaviour. All I must say is, when it comes to things like that, even though you're saying that you're a friend of that person, I would err on the side of caution in involving yourself that deeply into somebody else's relationship, because you need to check for your own relationship at the end of the day. You can have those conversations with your girls, yeah, and if you feel the need then to talk to her man, then you have that conversation with your girl first. Don't go off half-cocked trying to ask this man and throwing questions at this man when you know it's an uncomfortable type of situation at the end of the day. So it falls back to Demi and Ali, and Demi is basically having a chat with Ali. She does say that, you know what, she knew that he had connections here, who he had made a connection with, but for her it just felt weird, and she wanted to talk to Ali about how he behaved in that scenario. And Ali was basically like, let's just go to bed. And Demi had to go, Ali, like, seriously, come on now, kind of thing. And he turned around and he said, all right then. So basically Demi was making sure that her voice was hers in this scenario. She told him that she was not looking at Catherine and Ali when they were talking, but Jasmine was. So Jasmine was able to see what was going on and what was happening. Demi pointed out that there was a lot of laughter, a lot of keying between Ali and Catherine, and she wasn't sure how she kind of liked that scenario. Ali played the gormless one by literally going like, really? You think so? We was laughing a lot. Yes, really, my guy. Used two were flirting like a good one. Used two were flirting and bouncing off each other after you made your apologies and X, Y, and Z. It was like that scenario had been forgotten about, and then you fell back into old patterns with Catherine. Do you know what I mean? So Ollie's trying to tell Demi that him and Catherine were not flirty. I call bullshit on that one, because that he was being they were both being flirty, Matt Bertie, back and forth, talking about how what they imagined when they met each other, this, that, and flirt. It was flirt central up in that conversation. Even though, you know, Ollie to the point telling Bobby that there was still something there that he felt with Catherine, and how he had caught Catherine watching him and Bobby had seen the same type of thing. I says, yeah, Demi had at that point had a right to be worried, but we'll see how things continue to play out with these two. I was just like, yeah, at that point, Ali was a bit of a liar, and he was kind of pulling the wool over Demi's eyes. Like, he's got a good chat, don't get me wrong. Ollie's eloquent, very eloquent when he needs to say what it is that he needs to say, and when he wants to reassure Demi in the way that he wants to reassure her. But sometimes his actions do not meet up with his words, and those are the things that worry me about Ollie. I just hope he doesn't lead Demi down a merry freaking path, to be fair. And that is where this episode ended, and I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so when you know I'm on do videos. Please comment, like, share, and do all the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1K, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Peace out.